What is up, everybody? Solomon here. Super excited to be with Genfinity and interviewing Self Crypto. So dealing in digital identity, NFTs as identity, and kind of the defragmenting of the user experience across all of Web3. Super excited today to be joined by Enrique, who is the CEO of Self, as well as Kimberly Bell, who is the Chief Operating Officer. I always like to kind of kick these off with a little bit of an introduction. So maybe I'll let Kim, if you want to give an intro of yourself in the crypto and Web3 space, what brought you into Self, that'd be fantastic. And then we'll move over to Enrique as well.
Yeah, sure. Hi, guys. I'm Kim. I'm traditionally from a traditional financial background in the regulated sector. Been in crypto for about 5-6 years as an investor, and started working for projects in 2022. Met Rico at a previous project, thought he was pretty cool and knew what he was doing. So he's the brainchild of Self and decided to follow him to build out his dream.
Awesome. And Enrique, if you could give maybe just a little bit of a background of yourself in crypto and Web3 and kind of what led you into Self as well, that'd be fantastic.
Okay, hello guys. This is Enrique. I'm a computer engineer from Spain, Europe. I started to deal with crypto back in 2012. I think I started to mine Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Feather coin. The coins that born like 10 years ago, even more now. So I have been a lot on this space. And I started to work like in a professional way for Ledger and for Multibag. That it's a layer one chain. Well, right now it's not so good, but it was so nice a few years ago. And then I fall in life. I found these guys. I found Kimberly and Eric, and we decided to start a new project instead of working for others, and address the things on the way we thought it was the best. So here we are not right now with Self. We are so excited to be here, and we would like to say thank you for hosting us. And excited.
Yeah, no problem. So I mean, if you guys could give maybe an overarching, statement or explanation, kind of what is Self tackling in the crypto space? What are some of the problems that you guys see out there, and what are some of the solutions that Self is going to be bringing to the table?
Yeah, I think self-custody in the space is becoming ever more important, especially during the bear market. We've seen quite a lot of central exchange collapses, and the whole foundation of blockchain really is, taking control of your own assets. So I think making that as easy as possible for people is super important. So our core product replaces the wallet addresses with usernames, making it easy to sort of navigate and transact through the DeFi world. Those can be integrated into any decentralized wallet, central exchange. So the idea would eventually be to have the ability to send off exchange to usernames instead of wallet addresses, making it simpler for people. And also replacing the contract addresses on platforms like Uniswap and PancakeSwap, which we think will mitigate fraud and scams and actually make it more efficient overall as well. So the way I kind of like to explain Self to people is the PayPal for crypto. And imagine you have your real life wallet with your ability to spend, which is your username. And then after that, you might have tickets in your wallet, loyalty cards, ID documentation. So putting that in a digital form on chain with Self.
Awesome. No, thank you so much, Kim. Really appreciate that. If you could maybe even touch base a little bit on, I know a lot of business models across crypto and Web3 are pretty interesting. You see a lot of projects kind of just launch, especially like NFTs, just launching and then trying to figure out the business model aspects later. But if you could touch base on the business model aspects within Self, and then maybe even the value of partnerships within that aspect as well, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, so I think utility tokens have, the biggest scope in the market. At the moment, we've got this sort of meme season going on communities sort of think that projects don't actually have any revenue and they're not proper businesses. So we've designed something that we think is going to be really effective in terms of building out the product, and also from a marketing angle itself, which is to offer other crypto projects and projects, companies in the real world, revenue shares on selling our products. So that obviously gives them a massive incentive to market our product. We get more eyes on our products and our revenue increases. So that's kind of where we differ from quite a lot of projects which just go down the route of, you know, influencers. We have done traditional marketing, but we are really heavily focused on partnering with some solid companies and projects with a lot of users and rolling out the products and getting that revenue in so that we can push it back into the business.
Yeah, and I think to like extrapolate a little bit more on that, when you talk about, you know, working with other real partners, real businesses out there, what types of industries are you guys currently kind of doing that outreach into from the digital identity standpoint?
Yeah, so we have Alan Rogers on the team, who's an ex-professional footballer. He's speaking to some clubs at the moment, a Premier League club as well. They're really interested on getting the usernames on board and also building out some more features. We've been speaking to a government about official documentation, starting off on a lower level with that. And last week, we were actually contacted by a car company. We didn't even contact them. They came to us and said that, you know, they'd seen the product and they want to start accepting crypto payments. And it was great that people could send to a username. So they're looking at taking on the tech for that company as well. So we've got a lot of things in the irons in the fire that are really exciting.
That's fantastic. You guys also have a token. So if you could touch base maybe a little bit, like how does that token play a role within the ecosystem? And then from a tokenomic standpoint, I know it's always kind of a polarizing topic across the entire space. If you could touch a base a little bit on that as well, that'd be great.
Rico, I've spoken enough.
Yeah, great. You know, you are much better than me communicating. You know, I'm the nerd. I'm the proper person for nerdy questions, but I think you are the best for almost everything. But yeah, we have a token, and in our case, we thought a lot, because you know the first question that you must ask yourself when you are going to launch a crypto project is, do I really need a token, a new one, to do this? And in our case, the answer was a yes, because I think we need to have a currency to pivotate, okay, around it to do everything. We also, you know, with the decentralization and all, I think it's the proper way to go, and it is with all the disaster that happened lately with the changes with banks, with everything. I think decentralization is key. In our case, we really think that doing a DAO and let the community to decide about what is going to be the path we are going to take for the future. I think it is really important for us. So just because of that, the token was needed. But a part of that, we also set a staking platform in order to give rewards to the people that is holding right now, and that it's trusting the project for the long term. We are also using self as a currency in order to buy our usernames. So it is always a demand for the token in order to try to go up, because you know how the community is regarding price. In our case, we don't want to focus a lot about price, because when you are developing a project and you have like a 2-3 years roadmap to fully develop it, you should not focus just on price. You know, the price is important, but because the community, but it's not the most important thing in our project. But we are trying to boost the token as much as we can. We are trying to protect it, to avoid a lot of volatility at the moment. So yeah, we think that it was a great idea to have our very own token, and we are trying to boost it and to add a lot of applications if you have it.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned the DAO aspect as well. So that kind of leads me into Talking about kind of transparency, how are you guys engaging? How are you engaging the wider community? How are you engaging potential partners? How are you remaining transparent in that regard, as well as the community engagement aspect? You know, how do you envision the community engaging within the ecosystem, especially when you start talking about, you know, decentralized autonomous organizations, DAOs, all of that, those aspects?
We started to build our community. Like, I mean, we launched it months ago, so we are still too early, but we have grown a lot. We have a big community, and we have asked them a lot of things regarding what's their opinion on what what do they think it is going to be, what we need to do in order to success. So we have asked them, for example, to give some we in Discord we created a channel in order to receive feedback for almost everything. Okay, what do you think? We created a bounty rewards if you give for giving proper feedback. We also asked them like 2 weeks ago for what do they think about burning some tokens to change our tokenomics and burning some tokens. So we made a poll, and they decided that it's going to be good to reduce our max supply. So we are in constant communication with our community. We also publish almost weekly, if not weekly, every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks, we publish a transparency report with all the movements we have made with you know, with the capital we raised in our pre-sales. And yeah, we want to get the community involved in almost everything we do, because we think it's the way to go. Just because of that, maybe you don't like what or you sometimes you don't align with them because you think you must go for taking a certain path, and they think you should go the opposite. It is difficult, but I think with all that is happening lately, decentralization is key, and you must respect what the community thinks, because at the end of the day, they are the most important part of a crypto project. Because if not, doesn't make sense. Anything makes sense. So yeah, and regarding partnerships, it's mostly the same. Of course, some partnerships, you know, you receive an email for a new one, okay, and they are so cool, and it's going to be good for the project. So we decided that we must go, we must keep going with them, and maybe sign a partnership. But we are also open to community suggestion, and maybe for certain partnerships, we will ask them if we should sign something with them or not. But yeah, we would like to have them involved in almost everything. I think it is key
Yeah, and the
in our
space
case.
changes. I mean, this space changes so quickly. I mean, I always kind of like to ask anybody that I, you know, interview, like, how important is it to be able to, and I don't want to say like pivot, but like to leave yourself open enough to really adapt to the way that this market, you know, changes over time as well. Like, if you would maybe give, you know, maybe a minute on that, that'd be fantastic. Because, you know, looking back 2 or 3 years ago, what was going on in crypto and Web3 is totally different from where it's at now. And it's not even 2 or 3 years. It's like 2 or 3 months. It's 2 or 3 weeks. How important is that ability for you guys to be able to adapt to the market scenarios, to what, you know, what's going on in the space?
I think crypto changes sometimes on a daily basis. You know, you have like broad trends. We go through them really quickly. Last cycle, we had really high emission tokens. This time, I think it's going to be all about deflationary tokens. Last time it was about Ponzi's. This time it's about real world asset projects. The really good thing about Self is that it lends itself to pretty much anything that's going on in the space. It's got so many applications. You know, we speak to partners, and sometimes we think it's just going to be about selling usernames, and then they say something and we're like, oh, hang on, like we could build this into Self and make something out of that. So, you know, Rico talking about listening to feedback from the community. It's also about listening to feedback from our partners, what we can do with them, and sort of play out on that. So we have an extremely agile team. I think we've got quite a lot of visionaries on the team that can kind of identify trends and come up with ideas quite quickly. Tech obviously takes a little bit of time to build out. But then we've seen projects launch and not have a blockchain for 7 years in some cases. So, you know, to some extent, the crypto community is the least patient, but also the most patient. Yeah, we've ramped up our devs since launch, and we'll continue to do that in order to take advantage of whatever opportunities are out there, really.
Fantastic. You know, touching base on, you know, kind of that as well, like you mentioned kind of the username aspects, you know, can you touch base on the minimum viable product launch that obviously occurred last week, as well as, you know, I always like to kind of close it out with like, where are we at now, or where are you guys at now, and where do you envision yourselves to be 2 to 3 months down the line, and then even further looking out?
Yeah, we launched our MVP username platform where people can buy the usernames. That was on Friday, I think it was. We sold out $18,000 worth of names. I think that was 1,100 names in 12 hours. So I mean, that was pretty good going. People were calling it addictive. You know, they'd buy one name and then have to buy another. One guy ended up with about 75 names. So I think if people get hooked on it, it's quite good. You know, they've obviously got a secondary market as well for that. So I think that influences people to also buy more. So over the next couple of months, I envisage us having a partnership with a very big wallet, secondary marketplace, and more chains added on as metadata, other partners, real world life partners, and getting stuck into building out probably things like tickets for the football side of things. So I think we've got a busy few months, and it'll go by very quickly and seem like a year's worth of work has been done in about 5 minutes, as per usual.
We also have a new iteration for the marketplace. So for the metadata, I mean, of the NFT. So we are, because right now what we have launched right now was the engineering product, more because, you know, the interface is cool, the design is cool, but it was the what we used to bake the engineering testing. But right now it is not going to be the final development. Okay, we're going to have a brand new UX UI, new interface. So we are all the time developing new things. I mean, we are going to be like releasing new updates on a weekly basis, or every 2 weeks. So in our case, we will be changing some things, maybe rolling back to some functionalities that we renewed at the beginning, but we like them right now. So it is kind of difficult to set like a, you know, a straight path, and it's going to be like this. No, we are subject to make changes, and we are all the time doing them. And yeah, it is. We have a lot of things to release, not just regarding the MVP, but for the ecosystem that is going to empower the MVP product.
Yeah, and I mean, I know, Kim, you touched on it. Chains. So how many chains do you guys have outreach into right now? And how many are you kind of looking forward to expand out into, let's say, this year?
Well, I'm going to say that Rico will get,
yeah, we have
5% of them on board by the end of the year, because I like to push it like that.
Now, regarding supporting names, I think we can handle almost everything. I mean, as far as it is good enough and big enough to be added to the metadata and to the translation service, I think we are going to add it. It is pretty straightforward. That's not the most difficult part. Right now, I think we have Ethereum, we have Nimic, we have Bitcoin, Litecoin, Solana, Tron, EOS. Well, it was like the first package we added in order to have, you know, like an MVP, but we can increase that that amount of chains and ending adding everything. That's the easy part. I think that the most difficult part is to have adoption on any of those chains, to reach their community, to teach them and to show them how we work and how easy it is to work with us in order to make transactions and to have your own identity. That's the most difficult part. So it is better to just add a few and start to work on those communities and then keep growing. But adding metadata and supporting the chains is pretty straightforward. It's too easy.
No, I like that as well. I mean, especially with, you see a lot of projects kind of outreaching into different ecosystems just for the sake of outreaching into different ecosystems. But, you had mentioned, Enrique, like there should be a massive importance put on education and community engagement whenever you do that, as well as making sure that you guys are partnering with the correct infrastructure providers within those ecosystems that make sense. You know what I mean? So I really appreciate both your guys' time today. Again, this is a Genfinity interview with Self Crypto. We had the pleasure of meeting with Enrique, who is the CEO of Self today, as well as Kim Bell. Thank you guys so much for your time. I know you guys are super busy and looking forward to seeing more updates coming in the future. Thank you guys both.
It was
Thanks
our
for having
pleasure.
us.
Bye bye.